Hi and welcome. In this video, you're going to learn how to find any new or full moon in your personal chart and understand what area of life is being activated for you. So if you already have a birth chart, you can use that one, or to make things a little simpler, just follow me as we create a birth chart, a free one online, and then I'm going to walk you through the steps of how to find any lunation in your chart and understanding what that means for you. So this is super helpful for any new or full moon update that you're listening to really get a deeper sense of how it affects you personally. It will be different for every person. So let's get started. At first, we will go onto astroseek.com and then just click on birth chart here for me. Now, there's already a date and time and the city here, so I'm just going to roll with that. But please put in your birth date and time. Make sure you have the correct time here. Even a few minutes does make a difference. And then put your town as well. And then let's click on Calculate Chart here, and we have a birth chart on the screen. So let's look at this. It looks a little intimidating at first. There is a lot of stuff happening, but what we're always going to start with is just looking at the outside circle here. So you see in color here all the 12 zodiac signs. And whenever we look at a chart, we always want to find the rising sign first, the ascendant first, which is 9 o'clock here. So it is that dark black bold line here at 9 o'clock. So go ahead and check your birth chart, find that ascendant here. And then if you follow the line, you will see that it will end up in a sign. So in my case, it is at the end of Aquarius here. Okay, so just find it for yourself. And then we go around the zodiac now. So starting from that point, the first sign that comes afterwards is Pisces. I keep going. We have Aries, we have Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, and back to Aquarius here. So your rising sign probably starts with something different, most likely, but the zodiac is always going in the same direction. So, before Cancer will always be Gemini, after Cancer will always be Leo, for example. Now, if we look at these outside zodiac signs, we see that they all have the same size. So completely ignoring the inside circle for now, just check here, Pisces and Aries and Taurus all have the same size. And if we look closely enough, we can see that there is, like a clock, some degrees in here. So if we count this, there's going to be 30 of these little bars in each of the signs. So we have 5, that's the bold one, then 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. And again, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. 30 degrees in each sign. So now if we're getting into the nitty-gritty and we want to find something that is between, let's say, 12 and 13 degrees, then we are talking about minutes, okay? So each degree consists of 60 minutes. So if you have 12 degrees and 30 minutes, that means that this point will be exactly between 12 degrees and 13 degrees. Now, let's go ahead, and we have now seen the zodiac signs on the outside. Now, let's look a little bit more on the inside, what's happening there. Let's start with going back to the rising sign, the ascendant. It says ASC here, okay, 9 o'clock. And then when we go down and up, we can see on the inside circle that the numbers are here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. So these here represent the houses. As you can see, while the zodiacs on the outside were always 30 degrees and the same size, the houses are not. In this case, the first house is a lot larger than, let's say, the third house or the fourth house. So don't worry about that. It will always be different for each one of us. Just have a look at these houses now and understand that even for the houses, we always go down and up. Okay? Now, you have already mastered a lot just by understanding this bit. Now, let's get a little more into depth and just see what else is happening. So the next thing about this chart is that you have all these planets here. Do you see these? These symbols, they represent planets. Some of them represent just a point, but mostly these are all your planets here. And they all have a specific location in the chart. So this person is the sun. This is the symbol for the sun. The sun sign is in the sign of Sagittarius here. Okay, and it says here 10 degrees, 15 minutes of Sagittarius. This is what this means. So if we want to check this, we start at the rising sun, we go all the way down until we come to Sagittarius, and then we count 5, 10. Yes, so the sun is at 10 degrees. And now if we were wondering, okay, and in which house does this person's sun sign fall? We go down and check. It's the 9th house here. Okay, so this is just how you can look at your own birth chart and see which planets are falling where. Meaning, are you a Capricorn and your sun would have been in the sign of Capricorn? Or is your moon sign in Aries? Then that means your moon will be in the sign of Aries. Now, if you have a full moon or a new moon, you look at it as if you go use your own birth chart, find out which degree that new or full moon happening right that time falls in the sky, in the zodiac, and then you go ahead and find that point in your birth chart. So let's go and get that done. So the next full moon that is going to happen here as I'm recording is the Capricorn full moon on the 29th of June, 29th of June, of course. And it is falling at 8 degrees and 14 minutes of Capricorn. So let's find that point. I'm starting at the rising sign as always, and I'm going to go down all the way through the zodiac until I get to Capricorn. Okay, this is where Capricorn starts. 8 degrees. So let's start with that. So this is 5 degrees, and I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. And then 15 minutes doesn't make much of a dent, so let's keep it at 8 degrees. So 15 minutes is just such a tiny little bit over 8 degrees. So 8 degrees is here, okay? And now I'm gonna go all the way down, and it says 11 here. So this is falling, we say, in the 11th house. So for this person, this next full moon is gonna illuminate her 11th house themes. Let's have a quick look at what that could mean. So if we are looking at the theme for the 11th house here, so again, we start at what's the rising sign here. These are the houses. We go around all the way until we find the 11th house. So anything that has to do with friends, hopes, social causes, that person's ability to receive love and feel worthy of love, and modern technology, just as the internet, are going to be a theme. Okay, so now let's go and find the next new moon in this chart. So on the 14th of July, we have a Cancer new moon at 21 degrees and 59 minutes. So if you remember, there is 60 minutes in a degree. So 59 minutes is almost the next degree. So instead of saying 21 degrees and 59 minutes, let's just find 22 degrees of Cancer. Starting here again, we go all the way down until we find Cancer. So let's go and find 22 degrees. We start here. This is 5. This is 10. This is 15. This is 20. And we have 1, 2. So this is still happening, and this is a small house for that person, but it's still happening in the fifth house here. So if that person sets a new intention, it's at best if she sets it in the area of life that the fifth house represents. And that is going to be kids, dating, love affairs, creativity, being seen, making time for playfulness, for fun, for creativity, allowing yourself to be seen, taking up center stage. So any of these themes, it would be good to think about and set a new intention around that area of life. Okay, wonderful. Now let's try the last example. So we have a solar eclipse, which is a big full moon happening August 12th at 20 degrees and 1 minute. So we can just stick with 20 degrees of Leo. Let's find that. We go down all the way until we find Leo. And as soon as we start finding Leo, we start counting 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay, so it's at the same spot actually than that person's south node. So what do we see here? It is in the sixth house. The sixth house. Let's check what are the themes of the sixth house. So we go around here. This has to do with also work. So health, your daily routine, how you're working on yourself on a daily basis, how you're being of service to other people, and also very often the employment or the work behind the scenes that is going on. So this is it. We've went through 3 different examples here. Now, one thing that I wanted to point out is this is already a lot. So if you start with that, that's perfect. Now, if you want to go just a tad deeper, then you can think about if the spot that you're looking for, say 8 degrees of Capricorn, which is the next full moon that we have, is going to be close to a planet, it makes things a little bit more important for you. It highlights more than just this one house. So let's go back, because in this case, if we go and find 8 degrees of Capricorn again, so going around the zodiac, going all the way here to 8 degrees, we see that we are super close to this Neptune at 10 degrees 56. Okay, it's 3 degrees, it's actually not that. So I wouldn't do more than 3 degrees, but we're close enough here to Neptune. Every planet is associated with a sign. So Neptune is associated, the modern rulership for Neptune has to do with Pisces. So we look, where is Pisces in this chart? Well, let's go back to our rising sign and let's go down. Oh, it's already here. So Pisces is completely swallowed up in this case by the first house. You know, all the houses, they don't have to have the same size. So we know that for that person, this full moon is not just going to be important for the 11th house, but also for their first house. So whatever is coming up in that regard has to do with their 11th house themes plus their first house themes. Let's have a quick look of what the first house represents. First house has to do with your body, your appearance, and your self-image, how that person projects herself out into the world, the roles that she has in life, as in I'm a daughter, I'm a English teacher, I'm a philosopher. All these are certain roles or titles we give ourselves. So if you do happen to find any planet that is close to a new moon or full moon, go have a look what sign they rule, and then you will be able to take into account the other house as well. So as a quick breakdown, the sun is ruled by Leo. So if you go close to the sun, you want to check where is the sign where Leo starts. Okay, that starts here. So if I would have any moon or new moon, full moon close to this sun here, let's say 9 degrees of Sagittarius, then I would say it falls into that person's 9th house. But it also has to do with, and we check where the house starts for that person in that sign. So even though we're almost at the end of Leo here. This is the only bar that goes into the sign of Leo. So this is the 7th house. It starts here, okay? Because this one goes into Cancer. So you can see if you were to extend that bar. So this has to do with the 7th house now. And let's do one more example. Let's say this there's a new moon that falls at 27 degrees of Capricorn. So just here, it's close to the moon. And the moon rules Cancer. Okay, so we know, okay, this has to do with her 12th house. But we're also looking at the houses that are ruled by Cancer, which means, stay with me, this house, any line that goes into Cancer is the 5th house. It starts for the 5th house. And then there's another line going into Cancer, the 6th house. So both the 5th house and the 6th house, they kind of have an impact on this new moon as well. So they all kind of vibrate together if you want to think it about that way. So the second bit is a little bit more complex with the planets ruling the houses. So maybe just stick with first checking which house it falls in first. If it is close to one of your planets, just quickly check which sign that planet rules and then find the specific houses with that. I might do another video on that later to go a little bit more in depth, but I hope this was helpful so far. Thank you for watching and see you next time.